The first cold came back. The wind was whistling through the warped wooden slits of the house. Its howl sounded like the eye whining. Miss Nung pulled the thin wool shut. The cold still seeped through each layer of fabric. Running along my butt makes me shiver. 3 years, 3 winters alone in this house. From my husband's day, a talented but doomed sculptor. Lost because of illness, the house is also dead. It's eerily silent. The only sound he heard was familiar. The sound of the clock. The pendulum beats evenly. And my own breathing. This year, 40-year-old women are no more longer young. But not old either. They said she was beautiful. As beautiful as a late ripe fruit. The beauty that men look at just want to taste. But women look at it and they're afraid. My eyes are always like a thin fog. Yuran. The white skin was kept as a treasure by her husband. It's still smooth now, but lacked the glow of life. It's quietly white. She's sitting by the window, repairing my husband's old shirt. He can't throw it away. The smell of old cloth, the smell of sweat, the smell of wood is the only thing left. Numb with memory. My aunt's hands are elongated, the finger of the bamboo shoots gliding on the road. You're mending your shirt or you're mending the empty patches. In my heart, I don't know myself. It's starting to drizzle outside. The torrential rain of the north. It's not rushing, it's permeating. Deep into the ground, into the flesh makes the cold even colder. The house is so quiet. She craves a sound, whether it's a cat's meow or a chicken's crow. But I don't raise any children. I'm afraid of losing my husband. I feel like a tree without roots. Stay in the middle of the sky. I don't know where to hold on. Suddenly there was a sound of human feet. The sound of feet very quietly stepping on the dry leaves outside the gate. But in this spacious space, even a small noise was enough to make her cry. The needle's nose on the arm crashed into the index finger. A drop of crimson blood. Small down the blue fabric has silver. 2 milfs, sucking fingers. The smell of blood made my heart beat fast. Tae came to my house at night. This village is too afraid to go to a woman's house. They are afraid of sound. I'm afraid of the dark eye of this house. Footsteps stopped on the porch. And then there's a knock on the door. Decidedly low percussion. It's not a sneaking knock. It's not a rush. It took me a few seconds to swallow kanai. Her voice trembled in the wind. Silence outside. Only the drizzle thundered on the banana leaf boat. My mom thought he heard wrong. She was just about to come back when the knock on the door rang again. Stronger this time. Curly, curly, curly. It was accompanied by a deep and warm southern voice. Through the cold of the rain, let me ask you if this is your whole house. Teacher's aunt. I haven't heard that name in 3 years. My heart tightened and he walked out naked. I don't like the light. I'm afraid of the light. She just lifted the old curtain. Looking through her door, standing on the porch, was a shadow. A tall, muscular man. His shadow covers most of the weak light. The rest of the afternoon, he was wearing a dark blue army raincoat. The rain flowed down my shoulders. He's wearing a drooping battle cap. Cover most of the face. I found my throat dry. It must have been my teacher's house, but my teacher died. She sighed. Her voice still couldn't hide her trembling. The man stood still for a moment. He seems to be taking a deep breath. Then he raised his face. A faint light flashed in. It's enough to see a face. Brunettes because of the wine fog. His eyes are so deep. And that look. It's straight. It swirls into the noon, even through the narrow door. I know I'm a dancer. I'm your former student. But I tried to numb times in my memory. My husband has men students, but he don't remember the name VU very well. Or maybe he forgot. 3 years ago he forgot almost everything. What are you looking for? VU raised his hand and he pulled out Raschap. The hair he chewed was soaking wet on his forehead. The raindrops flowed from her head down her solid cheeks. My aunt has a job in the village. You want to light the incense. She lit incense. She was confused. I don't want strangers in the house, especially men, but as they say, she's my husband's former student. I can't refuse. I know that call. She hesitated to open the door. The wooden door screeched with a wailing eye. The wind was cold and the rain came in, straight in my face. Take a step back. Then stepped in. As soon as he crosses the threshold, the large house suddenly became cramped. It's slightly moist and it smells very strange. It's the smell of rain, the smell of the road and the smell of men's sweat. It's a strong, dark smell, but it immediately choked Nung's chest. He quickly turned around and he walked inside you. Nung turned on the yellow light. The weak light was not enough to ward off the coward. It just makes the shadows in the house longer. Twisting, he took off his raincoat and he hung it on a wooden hook by the door. Water from a small raincoat tongued down the old brick floor. He's wearing a gray shirt inside, clinging to her muscular chest. His hands curled as he squeezed the head dry. I dare not look straight. I'm only 7 years old. Healthy young. It's in stark contrast to everything in this house. Are you alright? She sighed, breaking the silence. I still am. Uncle Nung replied. Come to the church. Incense is on the table. He walked towards the altar of her husband. His gait is steady. It doesn't make a loud noise, but it's like stepping on her nerves. He lit the compressed incense. The white smoke flowed up. Bring the smell of incense. Straight dancer bow 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 bow. My sister is a few steps away. This hand tightens the other. She looked at Fu's back. A strong, wide back. It's been a long time. You don't stand behind a man like this. The warmth from the drenched body seemed to radiate out invisibly, but enough to make you feel it. Stick incense into 8 incense sticks. He stood still for a long time. Look at my husband's black and white photo. I saw my child walking too fast, and the voice was hoarse. Nung heard his head throbbing up his teacher's short number. But this time he looked straight at me. Under the yellow light his eyes deepened. That look doesn't seem pitiful. It's got something like probing. Your aunt has lit the incense. Excuse me for one thing. What do you suddenly feel insecure about? And Wu takes a breath. Ma'am, yesterday made a statue with you. A woman waiting for her husband. When you go, it's still unfinished. I heard it's still in storage. One of them tried someone in the warehouse. The warehouse is on the back. That's where my husband works. And it's also where Nung's death is locked down this year. I dare not enter. Everything about my husband, from the chisel to the wood that smells like plastic. It's all in there. The memory is in there, you know. I am still in contact with my former students. My aunt is now following my profession. That statue is my devotion to you. I want you to dance. Let me take it. Or let me come and see it for a moment. Nung's heart pounding into the warehouse. Open the door. Can't. She forced her mouth to sharpen faster than she thought. Dance at my reaction. I realized I had just ketujuh. She bent down and twisted 10 fingers. I mean, it's dusty in there, my uncle's stuff. I don't want to mess around. I'm just watching, you won't mess anything up. The voice is patient, but there's an urgency in it. But he can't say no more. My sister suddenly panicked. I'm afraid of the warehouse. I'm afraid of what's in there and I'm afraid of this man. It's a memento of my house. You want to keep it all. The air in the house thickens. You can only hear the rain outside, and the thunderous sound of water from the raincoat of the dance. But Dance look at Nung. He's not angry. He just looks. That look through the hard shell that the Nung are trying to build. He seems to see the shiver of loneliness. My mother's fear. A long time later, Vu sighed. I understand, I'm sorry. He bowed his head back towards the door. It was getting dark. I asked my aunt's permission to go and stand as the sky grows. My heart is confused. I was relieved that he was going away. I just saw a little something. Nay, nay. I put on my wet raincoat again. He opened the door. The wind rushed in till the strong wind drill was forced to call Nung mouth. The dent stopped, still holding the door latch. It's raining like this. Where are you going? Nung asked. I can't believe he just said that. The dent turned to look at her. Through the drizzle that's pouring on the porch. Go to the inn outside the village. Nung and hesitated far away. Maybe you'll stay in the warehouse tonight. Let's go tomorrow morning. I don't understand why he said that. Maybe because I feel guilty. Or maybe in the heart. I was afraid to go back to the horrible silence of this house. Dens to see my Nung. His eyes flashed a puzzling ray of light. Do you mind? Nung shakes her head, turn around to hide the confusion. Not left the warehouse even if Sao also left it empty. Wait for me to get the blanket. She saw it and hurried into the room, her heart beating like a drum. What the hell did you just do? I kept a strange guy at home. A healthy young man with deep eyes. This silent rainy night. Suddenly it's no more longer normal. I couldn't sleep that night. She lies in the room with her eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling. Outside the rain stopped. There's only the wind whistling through the crevice, but I can't hear the wind. I can only hear breathing. A deep and very real breath. Back from the warehouse. Uncle Nung is reclining. This house for the first time in 3 years. There's another breath. The breath of a man. A young man. I feel a strange feeling. An insecurity that's both shaky and curious. I feel like a small animal, suddenly discovered. There's a strange animal coming into our territory. She wanted to chase him away and he didn't dare move. But I'm so restless. Until the sun rises. The next morning he woke up earlier than usual. The cold of the morning woke me up. She looked to the left of the warehouse. The wooden door is still shut. Vu hasn't woken up yet. My sister came out behind the garden. She pretended to be picking vegetables, but she was actually checking. Last night he remembered. Storm. A couple of weeks ago, we knocked down a piece of bamboo fence. That's light. A section of bamboo fence was knocked down by the wind. Inert whole pile. Nung sighed. You are a woman who cannot rebuild. These days I've been taking temporary bamboo sheets. But the wind came into the vegetable garden. Just at the time he was struggling, the left door of the warehouse was slammed open. He changed his clothes yesterday. Now he's wearing an old army t-shirt. Has faded and the khaki pants are frayed. His hair is messy, but he still looks alive. He reached over his shoulder, and his bones cracked. She turned around and he pretended to pick up vegetables. Didn't see you. He scratched his head and he laughed. I said to you. I'm used to it, I'm used to it. Can you sleep? It's a bit of a mess. I'm so tired on the road. I'm sleeping. Go back to the water tank. Drain a bucket of cold water straight on your face. An hour, a sound of pleasure. He wiped his face and he saw the fence fall. My aunt's knife is broken. Yes, the storm hit her. V walked up to him, bent down to ply a bamboo. This one needs to rebuild the steel spikes. He let the cow go in and he destroyed the garden. My aunt is silent. She looked at me and he suddenly sighed. Mom, he brought the tools with me. I'm a guy who makes this. Let me stay for a day or two. I need to fix this fence for you. I guess he thank you for letting me stay. A woman who tried to refuse. I want him to go now. His presence made me nervous. But the fence. Andy don't know why to kick people out. When people are kind. Do you mind if he asks you why? No more. I'm not in a hurry. I'm laughing. The smile revealed white teeth. Contrasted with his dark skin. Yeah. Then it's up to you. She sighed. Andy hurriedly walked into the kitchen. My hat is as tangled as silk. Andy saw the den stayed. The dead silence of the house is broken. Instead of the pendulum clock, but now you hear other sounds. Sound of wood sawing. Hammering against the pounding. The chiseling sound. Those sounds are the sounds of men. Of the work of life. She cooks rice in the kitchen but she doesn't mind. It don't go out. But my ears cracked. Andy heard all the hammering. Definitely strong. They are as good as being beaten. The scorching sun of the early winter. The sun is scorching at noon. Noon felt guilty. People who help me do not have a sip of water. He made a pot of green tea. Andy poured out the old 8 porcelain. Vy was in the garden. He took off his army t-shirt. Noon's aunt froze. Vy is taking. He stands on his feet. Dua handles the sledgehammer held high above the head. His back. A solid broad back that glows in the sun. The sweat flowed into a glistening stream. As he cradles down the hammer. All the muscles in the back on the shoulder blades. And my arms all rolled up. A young man's strength. An original strength. My sister is a few steps away. The 8 water hands trembled slightly. The water almost fell. At the time, he finished smashing the steak. He breathed out an hour. His back. When he was about to get a sweatshirt, he saw Noong. And Vy is a little confused. Hurry up, Andy, get the shit you want to wear. He drank 8 glasses of water. Her voice was dry. He dare not look straight at her big chest. Of him. Thank you for not wearing a shirt. He came to get a drinks from my hand. The fingers of coarse armor. Cork bottle filled with ice and the bamboo resin. When he's holding it, his finger accidentally touched her finger. A very soft touch. But it felt like there was an electric shock. I saw your hands. But the dance doesn't notice. He drinks 8 glasses of tea on his back. The sound of chicken, a loud sound full of joy. His throat moves up and down. A few drops of water flowed down from his chin, rolling on a toned chest. My aunt looked at me and she hurriedly turned away. My mother's tea is so delicious that she returns it 8 to me. Are you tired? Are you tired? Noong asked, the voice still reasonable. No more. I'm used to it. It's all for in the afternoon. At this moment, my mother smelled something that was wet. It smells like a man. The smell of the sun doesn't mix. Soil smell and the new plastic cover smell. The smell went straight to her nose. That smell is the smell of life. This year, I am only used to the smell. The smell of the old house. The smell of her husband's old clothes. The smell of this makes my head ache. Something that's been dormant for a long time. In my body it seems. He woke up and he found my cheeks hot. Then you can do it. I'll cook. She sighed. She almost ran into the kitchen. That night, the work is done. The fence has been firmly reconstructed. Vy tidied up his toes. He can't get him to go hungry. And cleans 2 pieces 8, 2 pairs of chopsticks. You come in to eat your meal. He call out to you. He walked in with his hands and feet, and he put his shirt on. Dinner in the small kitchen with the bright yellow light. Only 2 people are silent. The silence. It's more stifling than silence. When my sister is alone, he can hear the sound of food. His voice and lies. Fuzz and ate very well. He ate 8 whole grains of rice. He can only put food in 8. Then bow down and eat slowly. He dare not look up. He can feel the drenched eyes. Sometimes he glances at you. The delicious lies suddenly spoke up. You are a natural. My teacher was so happy the other day. He cooked lice every day. He heard about her husband. The guilt of sin suddenly rises. What are you doing? Lunch with a young man. While your husband eats, don't get cold. She was trying to hide the confusion. Vy didn't say anything. He finished the last 8 meals. Put your chopsticks down and he sent me after dinner. Vy goes to the yard to smoke. Nung alone washing delapan under the kitchen. And scrub delapan. He just ate and my heart is broken. This house, it's been a long time since this kitchen was a man. It suddenly came back to life, sawing the hammer in the afternoon, the sound of dining in the evening. But this life, it scares me. It's dangerous. It made me realize I've been dead for 3 years. It made me realize he was missing. Nung strong pambag delapan, she wanted to smell a strange man. The dangerous warmth just crept into the house. And the feeling of sexual sin, it just woke up in my aunt. But the muddy scrubbed, the muddy smelled of new pine. The smell of sweat at noon. It still seems to be around. Woke up the next morning to clean up. He didn't get his hands on anything. He's just standing in the yard. He stared at the warehouse on the left. The brass padlock was reclining dull blue. Still dangling. Nung knows what Vy is thinking. He fixed the fence. There's no more reason to stay. But the reason he's here. The statue hasn't been shown to him yet. Uncle Nung brought a basket of boiled sweet potatoes that were still hot. You eat your underwear. Dense back to his stomach he took the potato. The heat from the potato into his rough hands. The bartender's eyes still did not leave the warehouse. I know your precious aunt. I didn't mean to take it. I just want to see it once. See if it's termite infested. Although it is also the passion of both teachers and the students, Nung Fu's voice begged something earnestly. My hat is the go. She rejected him once. This time I find it difficult. They just helped me rebuild the whole fence. But in it, Nung hesitated. I haven't been in a long time. The dust is stifling. I don't mind Aunt Vy saying light away. I'm a carpenter. I'm used to wood dust. Nung looked at Vy, and he stood so patiently. I know if he do, he won't go. Or he'll go but bring a hope. She sighed a heavy breath. Wait for me to get the key. Nung walked into the room. The key is hanging in the corner of the closet. I haven't touched it for 3 years. She took it off the cold brass key. The code is in my hands. My aunt uses me. She turned away and he didn't dare look directly at the dance. Follow me. My aunt walked fast. My aunt's thin back in a burgundy brown grandmother basket. Looked so lonely. Then silently stepped follow. To the front door of the warehouse, Nung shivering put the key into the lock. The lock is stuck for a long time. I can't wait forever to let you. A warm bass voice echoing right behind her. The nun hurriedly took a step back. She almost touched the chest of the dancer. She could feel the warmth and the skin from him, even though they never touched each other. Then step up. Jason's beacon grabbed the lock. He shook it slightly and he put the key in. Just a light click, the lock is open. You can see that my heart has broken for an hour. Pull pin. The heavy wooden door screeched against the brick floor. Make a sound that sounds creepy. A thick cold air coming from inside. It's the smell of time. The smell of wood. The smell of dust. The smell of closed-toothed spider webs and the smell of forgotten memories. Nung stepped back coughing. Inside the dark room, there's just a thin ray of light coming through a gap in the roof. The den stood still for a moment as if to get the eyes used to the darkness. And then he walked in. It is very dusty outside. But she didn't hear me. You don't know why you came in. Maybe you're curious. Or maybe you need to dance here. You dare to face this place. The space inside the warehouse is very stuffy. Dust-covered furniture. Large and small logs sprawled. The chisels, the shavings, the saw hanging on the wall also had a thick layer of dust. Stick up hand of the crank, find the power switch. But the power's been chewed off for a long time. Let me open the window. He walked towards the small window. The only one in the warehouse. The window was crucified long ago. He used his hand to jerk the beams of rotting wood apart. The daylight suddenly burst in, tearing through the darkness. The dust soared in the sun, like thousands of tiny pyrotechnics. And then Nung squinted her eyes. And then he saw it. It's standing in a corner of the room, covered in a tattered canvas. It's almost as tall as a real person. The dance teacher stepped closer. His hands trembled. He didn't pull the cloth out right away. He stood silently watching it. Master, hoarse voice. Then he slowly and respectfully pulled down the canvas. Dust flying up, Nung held her breath. But the statue shows a young woman, standing slender, long dress fluttering. The face is still unfinished. It's just charcoal sketches. Eyes closed with a sad face. Waiting for that eye in vain. Waiting for her husband to dance. He put his hand up. Rugged fingers squeezed lightly on the wood grain. The mahogany is still good. It's not creepy. She stood behind the dance. I remember looking at the statue too. This is the last work my husband did. He's devoted a lot of his life to it. He sighed. He carved a wife. A wife he always wanted. It's so beautiful. Velvet forced mouth. It's not over yet. His voice is still staring at his eyes. The eyes are not yet engraved. You said the eyes are the hardest to find. But no, the dancer stood still looking at the statue without blinking an eye. He's kind of drawn to it. She looked at the dancer and then at the statue. In this oppressive tight space, but shadow people. The dancer and the statue stood silent. And at that moment, the skater turns around. Maybe he'd like to step but get a better look at the statue. Nung was not in time to react. Then spinning people and slammed into my Nung. My sister lost her balance and fell behind. Towards a pile of old books in the corner. She was careful and hurried to put her hand out. He couldn't help her. He's just in time to reach out and grab whatever he can. His hand caught her arm. But at the same time, the pile of old books behind her is also falling. Old books and papers flying around. My sister sat down on a pile of paper. Dance is also pulled. He fell on his knees right in front of her. Both are stunned. Dust dances flying blindly. They're very close together. Almost to the point. You can see every single hair on it. Brunettes of dance. You can smell the sweat coming from him. Intertwined with the smell of wood dust. And the view he's looking at Nung. His hands are still clenching his open arms. Warmth from the palms of his hands through the fabric. She is hot, but she is also looking at her. The look of him. It's no longer the gaze of a schoolchild. It's straight at hot, it probes. He looked into her panicking eyes. He looked down at her tight lips. A time like a stop. In the stuffy warehouse under the dusty light. There's only breathing. The sound of her breathing was hasty. And the breath of the deep. My auntie is not so. Her voice is hoarse. My soul is now reborn. I was in a hurry to get my hands out of the dance. I am not so. My sister stood up. Standing and dusting off the clothes. I don't dare to look at my mom and I'm embarrassed. The dancer also stood up, and he has scratched his head in confusion. I'm sorry, ma'am, I didn't mean to. No more, sao. Nung turned her face away. This place is a mess. Have you seen it? Let's go out. She sighed and hurried out the door. She walked as fast as running away, but the dance is still there. He looked at the shadow of Noon. Then he came back. Look at the young woman's statue, waiting for your husband with closed eyes. A long time later, Vu was muttering alone enough for only him to hear. Master, he found the god for the eyes. After the incident in the warehouse, the air between Noon and the dance became strange. It's just shy, there's just something like electricity. She tried to avoid dancing. In the kitchen, in the garden. He can't walk past the warehouse anymore. She thought Vu would ask for the statue and leave immediately. He hoped so too. But the dance doesn't go. He cleaned up the warehouse. Tidy up the pile of spilled books. He's even roofing broken tiles on the roof, where the light has entered. He does everything in silence. He didn't ask for Noon's opinion. Till the afternoon, when he was washing my clothes at the end of the day, the new dance came out. He stood a short distance from her. My Aunt Noon startled me. What happened to the bamboo basket in my hand? My son, he thought carefully and the voice dropped. You know that statue is your memory of my teacher. You don't, please take it. My sister looked up in surprise. He felt a vague sense of relief. But dance continues. His eyes looked straight at her. He can't go when it's unfinished. My teacher died, but my teachers had died. Especially the eyes the statue has no more eyes. It's also not alive. She was silent and he didn't understand the dance. Please take a deep breath. Let me finish it. I'll carve out the eyes for the statue. I'm going to bring it back to life right here in this warehouse. When I'm done, I'll leave it to you. As if he had paid my debt of gratitude to you. You're done. Fu's offer startled Noon's aunt. Finish the statue here. My aunt's reason screamed not to send him away. It's dangerous. He was afraid of the way he looked at me. He is afraid of the eye whenever he is around. But my heart is beating. The words of Vu, he touched my weakest spot. He also regret, when he saw my husband's work, sir, dying in the dust. He also want to see it completed. How long do you need? Noon asked the child's voice. He can't believe he asked the question. My eyes will light up soon. I'll do it quickly. Some days the soul is done. She looked down at the clothes depending on you. You're my teacher's student, do whatever you want. He sighed. He hurried back into the house. He can see my cheeks are hot. She allowed the wolf to stay in her house. And so a new practice begins. The house is no more longer silent. The pendulum clock, now drowned out by other sounds, coming out of the warehouse. But the chisel clenched its way. At first the sound startled her. But then he got used to it. Noon realized, those are the sounds I've been listening for so many years. That's my husband's chisel. But it's something else. The chisel of her husband used to drill Thai calm. The sound of dance, it's faster, it's more definitive and it's more intense. It's like there's fire. She didn't show up, but she couldn't stop herself. Auntie are peeping. He stood in the kitchen through the door. She looked at the warehouse. The door is always open for light. The dancer sits on a wooden pole crouched over the statue. He's working hard. He was so drunk that he forgot everything around him. He didn't really get into the warehouse. He just put 8 green teas on my doorstep. You drink water. He only answered with an eye that did not leave the wood. But she didn't come back right away. She lingered for a few seconds. She watched him work. She looked at the dancing hand. Big rough hands full of glues. But when you hold the chisel, it becomes soft, ingenious to strange. Every stroke, every glide, he works like an artist. She looked at the back of the dance. Bare back covered in sweat. And it's creeping up. And it's creeping up. In my mind. Photos of the dance and photos of the deceased husband. Suddenly flickering, intertwined. My husband used to sit in that corner. My husband also has rough hands. My husband is also sweating. But the younger dance is stronger. And he's finishing what my husband left unfinished. My mother felt a strange feeling in her heart. It's not exactly mercy. It's got both admiration and a little bit of retribution. Nung realized, it's not just copying your teacher's technique. He's carving his way. He's blowing his own soul into the wood. The way he clasped his hands on the curve of the statue. It's shallow. It's not like a workman's appreciation. But it's like a sting. Nung stood silently watching. She was so busy looking that the dance went up. Your always not good. Your aunt is looking for you. Jerking shed herself. Nung is like a clumsy eater caught in tang. Not me. I see where you're going. She lied, her face flushed. Dan's laughed. He took the sleeve and he wiped the sweat on his forehead. The hardest thing is what your eyes are looking for. Find what to look for. Looking for the god of dance to see Nung. His eyes were fixed on me. A sad eye but not to die. Tibe sad and still Tibe hungry. Just like you. The words of dance, like a hammer to the heart of Nung. I'm standing, sir. What the hell are you talking about? I tell you the truth, for you didn't flinch your eyes. I can't stand the look of the dance. I feel like naked. Turn your back and go home and get to work. She almost ran away. My sister lost sleep that night. She erased the image of her hand dancing with a chisel. The back is sweaty. And the saying my eyes haunt me. I see in you an uncomfortable mess. Something has fallen asleep. Something that has withered for a long time suddenly stirs. Nung put her hand up to touch her chest. My heart is beating so hard. I feel guilty. I was thinking of a young man, while my husband lies 3 inches of land. I'm having an affair in my mind. But I can't eat. I think of the dancing hand. His hand murmured in the deck it was so warm. A few days later the air in my house still maintained a strange balance. Dancing in the warehouse flamed on to dusk. Steady chiseling sound. Nung still cooks my meals. Divided into 2-1 and put it in the kitchen. They hardly talk. We only communicate with fake voices. Yes, and the sound of 8 chopsticks flashing. But Nung knew something was changing. I no longer feel afraid. Whenever I hear the sound of dance, I'm used to it, and I'm even starting to feel lacking. If the chiseling stops for too long. It was a beautiful day. Nung decided to bring the basket stored in the kitchen. But in the yard, this food is for me to eat all year. Let it dry, or mold a heavy basket of grain. My grandmother is used to farming, even though she is a woman. Long days without heavy work. She tried to lift the first basket through the door. Let a big black shadow suddenly cover the sun. Since when have you been standing behind me? He's not working today. Maybe he's resting. No more. I don't need to. My mother hurried back. I was afraid of the heat coming from him. Heavy dance no more. He stepped forward. 2 solid hands gently lift the basket. Show me the place. The basket was so heavy that the dance lifted as light as nothing. His biceps are rolling. Nung is confused to point out the sunniest corner of the yard. Seryu are. Basket dancing in the yard pouring down the tarp. Then he came back. Not even Mom. There's 2 more baskets upstairs. Let the kid talk and he goes straight up to the kitchen. My sister rushed to Theo. Be careful the stairs. The cramped kitchen loft is filled with soot and spider webs. The other 2 are in a corner. Theo doesn't need an eye lamp. He's used to the dark. He bent down and he lifted a basket on his shoulder. At the same time, he turned his Aunt Nung who was standing right behind him. In a tight space, he can't avoid the end. A wooden stick on the kitchen floor suddenly screeched. It's broken. I have a leg missing in space. She reacts very quickly. Head through the basket. He was no more longer in a position to support her. He can only reach out one hand. Grab whatever you can to hold her back. The rough hand of the savage hit. Nung's skirt glided on the side. Nung lost momentum falling forward. A sound of stretched fabric. The blow is too strong to make her shirt flaps to the side. She fell into the snake's bosom like a stone. But the dance doesn't keep his end from behaving. He's glued to a point. Light where the skirt was shoved. Light on the slim waist of Nung, where the smooth white skin has a scar. A small, pale pink crescent-shaped scar. My aunt is also stiff. I forgot the fear. I can feel the breath of fire on the butt of my head. And I know he saw it. He saw my secret. She hurried to push out. She stepped back. Trembling hands pulled the skirt to cover the scar. His face jewed with no more blood. But the six dances out of back. He let go of Nungra immediately. His face suddenly became tense. Full of something incomprehensible. He stared at her. Not in my face, but in the place where my shirt had just been covered. Auntie, I'm sorry. Your voice is hoarse. It did mean to. My auntie I am not so. Uncle Nung stammered. She almost ran down the stairs. You put the grain down. Nung ran straight to the yacht. My heart beats like a broken chestnut for fear of falling. I'm ashamed that my secret was revealed. The scar, is my own memory and my husband's, a memory from a young age. The day the couple climbed the guava tree outside the garden, her husband jokingly made her fall by a tree branch on her waist. My husband was bleeding, and Ira had bandaged her herself. He said this is his own moon. But no more one knows. He didn't let anyone touch me this year. That's it today. A wrong dance that brings down to basins of grain. He didn't say anything. He just pours out the grain and he goes quietly to the fence. Sit down and he light a cigarette. Nung stood at the corner of the yacht. Where is the sole of a rake in my hand? The air is so stuffy that it's hard to breathe. Uncle Nung scratching lice, Aunt View smoking both silently. There's just the rustling of the grain and the rustling of the wind. She smoked all her cigarettes and he suddenly spoke. His voice echoed in the sun. My mother's scar. Nung hands scratching her holding her breath. The dancer looked at the space in front of her without looking at her. Is it because of the fall of the guava tree? The day you and rebuilt the untamet bahan? The rake on her hand fell down to scrape. Nung returned to watch her eyes widen in amazement. The race you know. But the dance turned to look at me now. His eyes were deep. It was the day too. He climbed on the roof. He see it all. He saw you in a panic, and he saw blood. My aunt was stunned and he could not speak. Turns out he knew for a long time. From the day he was an apprentice. My sister felt like she was being stripped. Every layer of cover, all the defenses I've been trying to build, suddenly collapsed. But this young man, he doesn't just know the present. He even knows my past. He knows the secret that only he knows. My aunt and the late husband knew. Nung stood still shivering in the sun. I found myself suddenly weak. And the view he's still looking at me. That look is no longer curiosity. It's got compassion. It's got understanding. And it's something hotter than the midday sun. The silence after the confession of the dance. It's worse than 1,000 words. My aunt did not run away. She just stood still motionless so the sun wouldn't shine on her face. I found myself suddenly exposed. This young man. He's got the key to a memory compartment. I thought it was sealed forever. Throughout that afternoon, Nung did not say another word. I was wrong about doing my job. But I can't focus. The look of dance. And the dentist's words kept swirling in my mind. But the dentist doesn't work in the warehouse anymore. He's just sitting on the porch, looking away. Sometimes he glances at my sister. He also seems to be confused. They also seem to be trying to sort something out. In the head, the game begins to dance. The noonday sun is gone. Instead, they're dead clouds. Pull from the horizon. The wind starts to howl. A wind that's screaming furiously. It's not like the gentle monsoon a few days ago. Wind carrying cold steam. The sky is about to storm, muttered Nung. Rush out to the yard to collect the grain. Let me dance. Both of them hurriedly scratched him and isang a little grain into the sack, just in time to bring the last bag of grain into the house. Then it's that. The rain is falling. It's not drizzle, it's showers. Rain like a little water. A sound of rain hitting the roof crashed into the boat with banana leaves rushing like a waterfall. The wind gusts by. And the wooden doors crashed against each other. Then thunder. A thunderous explosion at the top of the head tearing through the rain. The lightning illuminated the entire yard. My mother screeched for an hour. Dua hands embraced her head afraid of thunder. Since the day my husband died, I'm not afraid of stormy nights alone. My aunt and the aunt did not sow. View stood at the door worried. Nung shakes her head breathing hot pounding. Beams, more thunder. At that moment my mother heard a strange noise. There was a loud noise coming from the left side of the warehouse. Dead, Nung panicked the statue warehouse. He didn't think about it anymore. He rushed out into the rain. Dangerous ant boobs screaming also loud Theo. The rain whipped her face, Nung burning torrential water. He just ran to the warehouse door and he saw it. A large guava tree. It's the old guava tree. Broken by the wind. It crashed right into the roof of the warehouse. To break a large piece. Rainwater according to that hole. Straight down inside. Directly into the position of the statue. No more. 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 Inside the deck warehouse. It's just the occasional flash. The rain is rustling. Dance runs by Auntie drenched. He looked at the statue screaming. And he recognized the danger. They both rushed towards the statue. The bamboo cloth was drenched on the wood grain. My aunt dragged it away. My mother roared trying to drown out the rain. Nung used her best to push the pedestal of her Nung statue. He also tried to pull the heavy statue. Strawberries gugirogong's her muscle roll. The statue pedestal screeched against the brick. Both are wet. Trembling struggling with the statue in the deck. And the rain is screaming. Cold rainwater. But the weapon's sweat was hot from his body. He can clearly feel one. They finally pulled the statue into the corner. Both of you let go. They're standing there facing each other in the cramped warehouse. The rain is still screaming outside. The wind blew the warehouse door against the beam wall for an hour, then closed it up. They're trapped. It's raining outside. There's a thick air inside. It's bigger than the storm. In the deck, there's only a faint light from an oil lamp. She lit up quickly on the windowsill, fluttering by the wind. The dim light flashed on the two drenched bodies. A piece of clothing attached to her, revealing the curves of a 40-year-old woman. My Aunt Hera. The water flowed down her neck and down her shivering shoulders. Whether it's cold or something else, I don't know. Dance is nothing more. The soldier's tay shirt stuck to his muscular chest. The rain had soaked his hair down on his forehead. He's also breathing hard. And he's looking at Nung. An uncovering look. It's too cold, she muttered, her hands hugging her shoulders. View didn't say anything. He put his hand up, but he didn't give me his jacket. Because he doesn't have a jacket. He's doing something else. He grabbed the bed in his soaking tay shirt. Pull it back over the head. He took it off. Nung held her breath. Under the oil lamp the body of the dancer appeared. Solid chest. A numb-packed belly and the dark skin because of the water. He squeezed out his flowing shirt. You should also take off your shirt or your voice will sound harsh. Stunned mother took a step back. Your hands quickly hugged your chest. What did you say? I'm going to get sick. Dance looked at her, his eyes glowed in the dark. Or come here. But he didn't put his shirt back on. He took a step towards the hot pot. He can feel the heat from his naked body. The smell of man's flesh mixed with the smell of rain. The smell of old wood. A very original smell. Avoid, get out. She's a little girl, but her feet are buried in the ground. The dance stopped, and he stood just a stroke away. He looked at me, watching from her wet hair down her panicked eyes. My lips are trembling, and he stopped where the skirt is sticking to the waist. Where's there are flexible marks? Buck and dance tied back. There's only the rain outside. And the breath of both. A long time later the dance started. His voice was deep, almost whispered but enough to pierce the sound of the rain. You're gone, hiss and swallow the towel. You want to stay here my whole life. The question of the weapon hangs in the thick air of the warehouse. You want to stay here my whole life. It's like a knife to tear open the safe that Nung tried to sew. For 3 years he couldn't answer. He only know how to shake. The heat from her bare chest to her face dazed my aunt. But that night, he don't know how sad he came back. He remember Vu did nothing to me. He just stood there looking at her with his eyes on fire. Then quietly put on the wet shirt again, opened the warehouse door and he disappeared into the rain. All night my sister sat in bed without sleeping. The rain outside, it can't beat the sound of my heart beating. The words F dance, the eyes F dance, the heat of dance. I feel guilty. I'm scared. But he also saw something that had just woken up. Something alive. The morning after the storm broke, the sun cleared. It's like nothing ever happened. All that's left is a wet yet and broken branches. I dare not leave my room ashamed. I don't know how to deal with dance. I think Vu will go. After last night he had no more reason to stay. But he was wrong. He couldn't hear the sound of packing. He heard the chisel again. There's a chiseling sound coming from the warehouse. But this time it's neither Thai nor definitive. It rushed it. It's like there's a fire going on. They want to explode. She was confused and he walked out. He can see that Vu has been in the warehouse ever since he was naked. With his sweaty back, he's bending over the statue. He didn't fix the roof. He doesn't clean up broken branches. He's giving Kia all his strength. My whole mind. Into a single thing. His eyes are sculpting the eyes for the statue. She stood from a distance and he did not dare to approach. She looked at the way Vu worked. He was in the field. The chisel in his hand is like a dance. Every piece of wood flies out. He didn't just carve. He seems to be venting all his emotions. All the compression of last night into the wood grain. But the chiseling went on all day. Vu did not take a lunch break and he did not eat lice. My aunt brought water, and he didn't drink. He just nods his eyes and he doesn't leave the work. He was so excited that he saw something about to happen. Until the afternoon, when the golden sun finally shines through the storeroom. The noise suddenly stopped. The sudden silence startled her. After a while, he walked out of the warehouse. He's covered in a thin layer of wood dust. The sweat made the wood dust. He looks like a bronze statue. He was standing in front of his mother. His voice is hoarse, my voice is done. Nung's hat is closed. Come and see it. Nung hesitated. I'm afraid you don't know what I'm going to face. Even if my feet don't want to walk. He walked into the warehouse. Vu has cleaned up. The tree's broken branches were pulled into an angle. The rain is dry. And the statue is no more longer in the dark. Vu pulled it out in the middle of the room, where the light shines the most. Nung walked closer and she stopped. This is no longer a woman's statue. Waiting for my old husband. This is no longer a woman with closed eyes, sad to wait in vain. But Vy changed the details. He sculpted the eyes and they're open. It's no longer sad, it's not doomed, it lives. Those eyes are looking straight at Nung. It's a burning desire. A desire that's been repressed for too long. A smoldering fire just lit up. Those eyes have a lot of pain. There is also desire. There's a challenge. She took a step back and put her hands over her mouth. Auntie realized. I've seen these eyes. I see it every night when I look at myself in the old mirror. Those are my eyes. My Aunt Nung shivered, my whole body trembled. You're the one who sculpted this. I could feel his breath coming in. My name. He didn't answer me. He stepped up and he stood on the same level as the statue. He's standing in front of her. The rough hand of the weapon. Slowly raised his hands full of wood dust. He didn't touch Nung. He touched the statue. His painted battle fingers squeezed softly, wooden cheekbones, pressed down the parting wooden lips. And he stopped at the burning eyes of longing. Then he raised his head and he looked straight at her. His eyes are hot now. It's like the eyes of the statue. He didn't carve the eye, his voice was low. He carved what he saw. The words of the dance as a spark, directly into the withered chest of Nung. You steal what you see. Nung stood at feet. She looked at the statue and then at the dance. They both have the same eye. A naked yearning gaze. Uncles, my mom wants to curse. I want to break the statue. I want to get rid of you, but I can't. My throat is choking and I think I'm right. That statue is my mother. You are my true self. The man I've been hiding for the last 3 years. People are hungry to be loved. My sister can't stand it. She turned the man out of the warehouse. I don't have to run home. She ran straight out into the yard. She ran as if to escape from herself. I stand in the middle of the dark sky. Two hands clasped together. What am I going to do? It's gone too far. This young man, he's seen through my heart. He used the chisel itself. Her husband's wood to strip her naked. Velvet walked silently following him, did not run. He walked slowly and steadily. He stopped a few steps away. He didn't say anything. He's just standing there at his feet, solid body covered in wood dust, bulging chest. A night of silence. A silence more terrifying than the sound of a storm. Last night. That night my mother completely lost sleep. I'm not in the room. She sits on the shelf. My aunt feels suffocated. This house has suddenly become too cramped. She sits there looking out at the dim courtyard. I hear the sound of insects. I hear the blood is slowly throbbing in my veins. I don't know where the dance is. Maybe he went back to the barn. I'm trying to find peace again. Tried to tell myself he was leaving in the morning. But I know even if he goes, I'll never be the same again. That statue will haunt me for the rest of my life. I smell a smell. The smell of wine. The smell of ice wine mixed with the smell of medicine. Vy is sitting in the corner of the yard in the dark. He sits on a hammock or he takes a nap. He doesn't sleep either. He's drinking. Drink with kedelapan. Next to him was her husband's cigarette. I'm so excited you haven't slept yet. Dance up under the dim new moon. His eyes lit up. He can't sleep. His voice is hoarse because of tomorrow's wine. My heart is beating a bit. Your stomach is done. Vy brought up 8 drinks to drink, a little shallow. A loud voice, a loud voice. I found my throat dry. I don't know if he should be happy or sad. Slowly get up and he moved closer to the dance. I don't understand why he came. Why do you ask? Her voice trembled at why he repaired the statue. He put the delapan down and laughed. A smile almost full of bitterness. She asked him to look up at her. There's a lot of wine in my face. I don't want him to die. This must die. Hands down on the old statue, it's dead. It's sad, it's doomed, it waits in vain. Just like you. Your whole life is wonderful, but you are doomed. I love you, but I am helpless. I died in that helplessness. He stood up and he stood up. He was a head taller than her. He staggers towards me. I don't want him to die like you. He nearly pointed his hand toward the warehouse. I don't want you either. The fire's breath in her face was hot. Dying like an old statue, my sister stepped back, but behind me is Apple all the way back. Uncle, you're drunk. The woman trembled and raised her hand to push the weapon out. But Vy grabbed my hand. His hands were rough and hot as fire. Hot for hot, wine for repressing. He clasped her neck tightly. I'm drunk, I'm laughing, I'm drunk. I've been drunk since the day so you fall from the guava tree. I'm drunk on the crescent moon scar. I was drunk the way you looked at me. I thought you didn't know I looked at you hungry for you. No more. My sister screamed, trying to hold her hand. Let me go. You're lying. He is so strong that he pulls his body towards him. My husband lost his balance, fall into the bare chest of the dance. Nung's beam crashed into her chest as solid as steel. And stunned. Everything exploded. Smell of flesh, smell of sweat, smell of alcohol, smell of wood dust. It's all straight up my nose. My sister found herself surrounded by water. The heat from the body flows through the thin fabric, burning my mother's flesh. Nung Vy snarled. His voice is no more longer human. It's the sound of an animal. But he didn't kiss her, he just bent over. His hot breath flowed down my neck into my hand. My sister Nung trembled and he trembled. I have no more strength to push out. I don't want to push it out either. By years, repressed, by years lonely. 3 years of withering. Tonight right now it's all broken. Nung doesn't know what to do anymore. I only know. She was clasping her hands to the broad solid mat of the dance. She was so strong that her nails, it's like sticking it in his flesh. I hear the drenched breathing. I hear my heart beating like a drum. I hear the wind whistling outside. And she heard her own voice. A soft moan. It's painful and sinful and happy. She crossed the fence. Not by accident, but by the moment itself. I let go of myself and I let my instincts take me away. But the dance stopped. He felt the trembling of her letting go. He looked up at her under the moon. Nung's eyes closed with tears flowing long. He takes a step back from his arms. They're both standing still watching each other breathe. She hurriedly raised her hand to tears. She turned her back and he hugged her thin shoulders. It's too late. My mother's most secret. My mother's desire was touched by this man. After that moment of explosion and surrender, no more one says a word to anyone. Nung with shaky shoulders. Through the dancer and into the room. I shut the door. She slipped down and sat with her back to the door. Dua hands with sobbing face. My mother's cry is not loud. It's compressed. It sounds like a wounded kitten. I resentment and helplessness. I cry for my husband. I cry for loneliness. Or I cry for the sin I have committed. I don't know myself. I just know I'm broken. Outside the den stands in the middle of the yard. He's like a statue that's been motionless for a long time. The drinking seems to have disappeared, replaced by a sense of confusion. He raised his hand and he looked at the palm of his hand. This rough hand just touched something. It's not allowed. He smells the flesh of a woman. A familiar and strange smell lingering on the finger. He looked at the closed chamber door. He heard a sobbing cry for Ra. A little bit of remorse mixed in. Strange victory rises in the heart. He was right. The Lord is not the Holy Spirit. My aunt is also a woman who craves sex. But the dance doesn't go to the warehouse. He went back to the bamboo mat and he sat down. He grabbed the plow and he screeched a deep breath. Lan smoke. But it didn't calm him down. He sits like that in the dark. Smoke one cigarette after another. Until the sun rises. The dawn of the next day. A dawn more stifling than the night. The rooster's crowing broke the silence. The early sun crept through the door into the house. But it doesn't bring warmth. It just makes it clear that it's naked. My sister walked out of the room. She changed into another outfit. She wears a dark brown bath-top. My aunt's hair is neat. Her face is pale. Puffy eyes from a deep cry. He was 10 years old after one night. She saw Vy still sitting on the floor. He fell asleep with his head down. My bare chest is still fluttering. Uncle Nung stopped. She looked at his bare back. The back that he held last night. There's a shiver down the spine. She hurried back to the kitchen. But the sound of my sister woke me up. He looked up and he rubbed his eyes. The first feeling is pain. Pain from alcohol, pain from the night dew. The second feeling is guilt. He saw Nung's aunt was huddled in the kitchen group. Her thin back shrank defensively. The dancer stood up, and he had put on a delayed shirt. Had been squeezing at the fence since yesterday. He walked over to the pool, and he drew a ladle on his face. The cold water kept him awake. He goes into the kitchen, and he opens his voice hoarse. My aunt Nung startled me. The kitchen stick on my hand fell down and he jingled. I'm not back. He still stared at the fire. This is mine. I'll make you some water to drink. Nung's voice was dry without emotion. It's an absolute silence. Only the sound of the fire breaking apart. Two people behind my back. He wants to say something. He wants to say I'm sorry. He wants to explain. But every word now is meaningless. You both know that something broke last night. Something that can't be fixed. I'm going to take the statue. He heard the statue suddenly came back. Her red eyes looked at the dance with indignation. No more. No more. My aunt is too big. You can't take it. Shocked, but that's what he do. You made it out to humiliate me, didn't you? My dad is shaking it up to remind me. I'm a bad woman, aren't he? No more. I'm not in a hurry to say no more. He just wanted to live. He want you. Shut up. She screamed tears again. You, get out of my house. She pointed her hand out to the gate. Stand like a husband. He looked at her shivering in pain. He knew he was wrong. He pushed her to the end. The boy bowed his head. And he sighed no more. He stepped back. He went straight to the left of the band. She stood still looking at Theo. He saw him tidying up his little kit into the worn-out cloth. Quick and compact. Then he walked out into the yard. He walked past her without looking at her. But as you walked through the band, you stopped for a second. He looked at the statue of the young woman, with yearning eyes. He looked at it like goodbye to a child. Part of my flesh and blood. Then he turned away. He walked straight out the gate a goodbye. Nung stood in the kitchen watching the shadow of the tall back. Steady, he looked. Until he's out of the way. When the dance just came out of the closet. He sat down in the cold kitchen. He don't cry anymore. He just feel empty. The house is silent. But the quail of Nung, it still seems to be in the kitchen. Even though Vy has been gone for a long time, the house returned to its original silence. But the silence this time is different. It's no longer quiet, it's stifling. It's full of untold emotions. Full of sin. She sat on the cold kitchen floor and he did not move. She's like petrified. Outside the clock, the pendulum starts ticking again. Swing, 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 swing. Bit by bit beating on my empty chest. He's gone. The young man who brought the storm came and he took the storm away. Leave her alone. With the house falling apart, and I had just as broken. I don't know how long I sat, sir. Until the sun doesn't shine through the slits in my face. My aunt woke up. My aunt stood up and he wobbled. He didn't go to my room. Her legs unconsciously led her towards the warehouse. The warehouse door is still open. My sister walked in. The sun shining through the broken roof and straight down. It's standing, sir, the statue. She is no longer a woman waiting for her husband. It's a woman who yearns. She walked up to him and he stood in front of him. He's looking at me. Wooden eyes carved by the hand of view. Is swirling straight at me. Her eyes did not condemn her. He doesn't despise her. He understands. He sympathizes. It's me. Nung brought up her trembling hand. I want to touch it. My aunt is afraid. She was afraid to touch her own naked desire. But she also touched. Her fingers glided gently on the mahogany. There's still some dust, but polished under the hand of the dance. She touched the wooden cheeks. She touched the parting wooden lips. And she touched the wooden eyes. The moment her fingers touched the wooden eyes, it's an intense tremor running down the spine. My tears had dried up last night. Suddenly it comes out again. My sister started crying. This time I didn't cry. I cried in silence. Tears just kept streaming down my cheeks. Small down shoulder shook. She stood so hugging the statue. My aunt embraced her own desire. Embracing her sins, she went away. He took away my false peace. But he also left me something. He gave me life. Even though it's a life full of pain and suffering. But this statue, it's not my husband's memento anymore. It is the secret of the dance. It was a witness to last night's storm. It's a witness to the naked truth. That's what he tried to bury. She stood there for a long time until the sun went out. He didn't cook that night. He wasn't hungry. On the inner room, she pulled from the bottom of young Raasil cloth. The red cloth is the dowry of her husband's house. I've never used it. My aunt brought the cloth to the warehouse. He didn't cover the statue. He wiped it. She used the red silk, wiping away every speck of dust on the statue. She wipes her eyes and her shoulders. She wiped the crescent moon scar that VU was deliberately remastered, in a hazy way, at the waist of the statue. But the statue under the oil lamp, in the red silk suddenly came alive in a magical way. It's like breathing. She looked at him and he smiled. A twisted smile, half hurt, half as liberated. Yurei talking to the statue. You will be here with me from now on. They left, but the statue stayed. I am lonely from now on. There was a specific form, a flaming form yearning. The 3-room house returned to its inherent silence. The sound of saws, the sound of hammers, the sound of hurrying chisels, the man's quick breath. It's all gone. There's only an hour left, and the pendulum is ticking, and the wind whistles through the door every evening. But this silence is different now. It doesn't die anymore. It lives on a secret. My husband also returned to his old life. He still get up early and he cook rice in the garden. But one thing has changed. I'm no longer in the kitchen, or shrink in the chamber. She started cleaning the warehouse. Tay herself repaired the broken roof tile. She swept away the spiderweb dust. He rearranged the wood. Piled her husband's stuff neatly into a corner. The other is the most beautiful corner, where there is light for me to save. She put the statue there. A woman with hungry eyes. It's cleaned with silk. What stands tall? Forma. The warehouse from a forgotten place full of dust. It has now become the most private place in the world. He closed the door, not to seal it. It's to hide. To hide my secret. Neighbors are starting to see strange things. They've seen you lately or come out of the warehouse. He was afraid of him like a tiger. Now he come in every day. Maybe he was inside all day. Sometimes the neighbor is deaf. It sounds like my mother is talking. Or she misses her husband. And then they click their tongues. Pity women for too long when they are sick. They don't know that they don't talk alone. She's talking to him. She talked to the statue. She told him about the dance, she blamed him, she scolded him. You see? It's gone. It made me do this. It's gone. But the statue is silent. He look at you with burning eyes. Those eyes are like saying it's not you. That's what you want. My aunt is crying again. She rested her head on the coat and had mahogany, but he feel warm. Auntie giving hand, gently applied to the crescent moon scar on the waist. The statue and then she unconsciously reached out her hand to touch the scar. He's hiding behind his own clothes. They are one. Time goes by and winter comes back. The first wind of the season is whistling again and again, through the door slits. The cold burns the meat. It was too cold that night and he wasn't in the room. My mother is not at home either. Auntie in the warehouse. She lit an oil lamp. The yellow light flickered. She sat on the wooden pole that Vy used to sit on. She sat across from the statue. The wind outside is screaming. Its screeching sounds like ice brainwashing. The cold creeps through the cracks. Make the oil lamp wobble. But he don't feel cold anymore. She pressed her hand gently against the wooden cheek of the statue. Under the lights those wooden eyes are glistening water. At noon smiles a mysterious smile. My mother's loneliness. It had a form. A beautiful living form full of sin. And he'll stay here with me in the secret closet. Forever.